Welcome everyone to another episode of Time for BL. This is the podcast where we review movies, TV shows, novels, and comics, all in the boys love genre. So here's the deal. It is 12:36 in the morning. I should be in bed, but I just finally got the baby to sleep, and I also just got done with Red, White, and Royal Blue. I went ahead and got the audio book so I could listen to it while living life, and I just finished it. So I was like, I need to write a script on it to really talk about it. And I'm like, you know what? I am up. I just finished it. Let's talk about Red, White, and Royal Blue. So it is a 2019 LGBT romance novel. It's written by Casey McQuiston. And it follows the character Alex Claremont Diaz, who is the son of the USA's first female president, and he is dating a prince of England. It was shorter than I thought it was gonna be, but I went through the whole thing. There's a lot that I loved, and there's a lot that I queried. And why are they driving down the street that loud? But overall, this was actually a pretty good read. When it comes to complaints, I don't think I have much. But this was definitely written for I want to say it was written for the female gaze, but that's mainly because I feel like most queer romances written by women are more for the female gaze. The female gaze. I cracked myself up. That was such a middle school joke too. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? But yeah, I feel like when you get a story written, like the Geography Club, the book, not the movie. The movie was but the book. When I read that was written by a gay man who wanted to write a story that he wished he had when he was a teenager about coming out and all that stuff. And to me, it felt like that. I felt like this is a story that's definitely based off of someone's real experience. This Red, White, and Royal Blue is straight up just like a fantasy romance. Like the whole idea of a prince whisking you away, kind of like all those movies and stuff that deal with princes. It's basically the same thing. So I didn't know that the main character Alex was going to be the son of a president, because I actually didn't look up much about the book. I always wanted to read it, but I decided I didn't want to know too much. I just knew it was about a prince. So I didn't know it was going to be a U.S. president's son, the first son of the United States, and the British monarch's youngest son. Youngest grandson, because the queen is still the grandmother. So I didn't know that he was going to be a president's son, because in my mind, as I was preparing for the book, in my case, listen to the book and not read it, I was thinking it was going to be like, a random person they meet in college, something like that. But the story of it and the British prince meeting the son of a United States president actually makes more sense than my fantasy of the regular nobody knows this person who the prince falls for, I guess. I love that even though this whole story is written in the third person, it could have just jumped around following all these different characters doing all these different things, but it didn't. For the most part, it stayed on Alex, and we're seeing everything pretty much through Alex's eyes. And I love all the little relationships you see building around Alex, because he talks about as well being half Mexican and how he knows that he's viewed as that, but he also notices that some people only see him as Claremont, his white mother's son. And that I really enjoyed those little tidbits with him, because when you're mixed, especially if you're mixed and you look more like one race versus the other, you do find that you're either more accepted or less accepted, or people choose to ignore that side of you and focus on this side of you, because it fits them better. It fits what they want to view you as better, I guess. So seeing Alex, or having Alex talk about his experience as being not just the first son of the United States, but also being Latino, and obviously Latino, and his sister's experience as well, and how anything they do, it's not just it's not just Alex did this, it's the son of the president did this. Don't forget the president, she's the first female president and a divorcee, and her husband is what was he, a congressman in her ex-husband's a congressman in California. And it, like, the idea that if he does something wrong, will they blame his Mexican side? Like, I really like that whole thing, because that there was definitely some thought put into that as to what the character of Alex would experience being Hispanic, or I should say visually Hispanic. And also, I'm like trying to look up information on the author while I talk about the story, because one of the things I wanted to know is if the author, Casey McQuiston, is Mexican, or were they just writing a Mexican lead for a story? Because there, of course, is a call for more diversity in a lot of different romance novels that get a lot of attention, because there are romance novels out there that do have people of color in it that don't get as much attention because the person who is writing them is not of the paler complexion. I am sorry, but that is the truth. People want diversity as long as it's diversity that they can stomach, and it's annoying. That's what it is, annoying. But while I was doing my search for that, I did find out that Casey McQuiston is bisexual, queer, and non-binary. So hopefully I did not use the incorrect pronouns at any time earlier in the in the episode, but from here on out I will be referring to them as they, them, or just by their name. So Casey is queer, which is good because they are writing queer stories, and it's great to get queer stories from queer authors, and we definitely need more of that. And what's great is Red, White, and Blue was Red, White, and Royal Blue seems to be their first book, and it did phenomenal. Like, I remember seeing it in 2019 and going, what's that? I should look it up. And looking for it, finding the price online and going, should I buy it? Do I want to buy it? Let me wait. I don't have time to read, like, all this stuff. And now that I have audiobooks now, I can listen to the book. So I finally bought it because I've been wanting this book since 2019, and it's so interesting reading it now because the book takes place in 2019 to 2020. Okay, so before we knew about la pandemic. Before the pandemic hit. So of course the pandemic is not in the book, and it's like listening to it is like, oh, I wish. Oh, they're traveling. Oh, you could just go meet the queen. Oh, isn't that amazing for you? You know what we did? We were scrubbing things, okay? We were scrubbing things to make sure we didn't die because we didn't know what was happening. But yeah, go ahead and hold a concert. But yeah, I want to just say right now, the quality of the audiobook is phenomenal. I was able to get it at $18.89 on audiobooks now, and the narrator was Ramon de Ocampo, and it was 12 hours and 15 minutes long. So it basically I just listened to it on my drives, and when I was doing chores and when I'm doing this, when I'm doing that, just pop my headphones in and listen to the book. So yeah, like it took me just a couple of days, but if you got 12 hours or you can, work while listening to something, or you want something on your morning drive other than time for BL. It was an awesome read. It was an awesome listen. It was Ramon de Ocampo was definitely a really good actor and really brought each character to life with the voice acting. I really enjoyed it. This was a really good quality audiobook, and it was great to listen to. Now, as far as the main characters, Alex and Prince Henry, and I enjoyed all the little banters they had going back and forth. I enjoyed all the little jokes about with, oh gosh, and now I can't remember the name of the character, but Henry's best friend, because he's in love with June, and how did you get him? Like, I can try that to get June. June is Alex's sister. And Henry's saying, oh, I just keep insulting him, and apparently it works. I'm just like, that is hilarious. I love that he has like his friend that he can talk to, and it talks about like him having to be in the closet because he has a duty and an image to present of the family. So I'm talking about Prince Henry. Prince Henry has a duty and an image to present for the family, and having that be like an obstacle for him to overcome. I really liked his storyline as well, and having him talk honestly about what he's gone through. But this is where I'm going to get to. But I was like, what? So there's a part where Alex, June, and the vice president's daughter or granddaughter, I think she's the vice president's daughter, they host a huge party at for New Year's Eve. That was something they started when they became the first kids in the White House. Anyway, so they had a huge party, and he invited of course the prince, because they have to pretend to be friends to for public perception and do things together. So he I don't even remember the line, but he heard Little John and the East Side Boys for the first time. And did he say sweat drop down my balls? I'm like, I'm pretty sure when they were in high school, if we're talking about the real Prince Harry and Prince William of England, I'm pretty sure they knew who the Little John and the East Side Boys were. But in this fictional world, The royalty have never heard rap music ever. and 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 they don't know how to dance to music that's not a waltz. And I was just like, this has gone too far. Oh, but he knows all the words to Queen songs. Sure. I was like, that was like my, really? That's what that was for me. And did they have, no, there wasn't really much of those moments with Alex. I mean, there were little things here and there that are kind of very extravagant, or, you know, things that I like. Okay, like, I guess the comparison for me with Alex, his things were just more him doing him. So he decided, because Prince Henry would not answer any of his calls or texts, that he's just going to go to Kensington and demand to see the prince, and just tells his bodyguard, hey, can you come with me? We're going to be gone for 2 hours. We're going to leave in 2 hours. We're going to go to England. Now. Like, really? Like, just like that. She's like, yeah, we're going to go to England. We're going to show up in Kensington and we're going to demand to see Prince Harry. And they let him in through the gate because they didn't want him to cause a scene. I was just like, those things like that were the moments where I'm like, yo, this is fantasy. Got it. This is fantasy. But other than that, I think I saw where someone said red, white, and blue is for people, is not, they said red, white, and blue is not written or what did they say exactly? I don't want to misquote them, but they were talking about red, white, and royal blue, and why for them as a gay man it wasn't their story. It was more like this fantasy lovey-dovey romance story that's written to make women swoon. It was something to that effect, and I can see it. I honestly can see it from the story. It was definitely a fantasy piece that I really enjoyed. I actually do enjoy the characters of Alex and Henry. I loved the whole storyline of them being forced to fake a friendship. I think that was a interesting way to bring them together that we've seen before in other things, where two people are just we gotta just get through this, and then something happened, now we're sleeping together. So it's definitely been done before, but this time it's being done with the Prince of England, Henry something, and and the first son of the United States, Alex Claremont Diaz. And Alex was definitely written to be very relatable. My 20-year-old self could have definitely related to a lot of the things that he was going through as the son of an immigrant, and always worried about what you do and how your family would be viewed in that light because you're an immigrant, or because your parents or your grandparents are immigrants, and all that stuff. Like, that is relatable so much. I don't know what I wish was included, But I know that for me, something wasn't there. But I don't know what it was that I was missing. I can't think of what exactly I was missing in the story to make me just head over heels, fall in love with everything with the storyline. But I will say this. So, while I was looking up the storyline, I did notice a few people, not all of them, but a few people doing their own little fan things for the book because they're huge fans of the book. And I realized a lot of them made Alex of the paler, fairer complexion, which in the book he clearly states that he he says he looks Mexican, but Mexicans can be light-skinned as well. But he's really talking about the fact that he has a darker complexion, and he kind of describes himself, or well, the narrator, describes Alex and his looks and all that stuff. And the fact that the Claremont Diaz kids, they do look Hispanic, and the fact that again, and I say this again, so many people who want to do fan drawings of their favorite stories and stuff, and even on the cover of the book you can clearly see that Alex is a darker tone than Henry. It's clear on the cover of the book. But so many people who are fans of it just ignore that, because in their head it's just two white guys, and his mom's white, so why can't he? In the book he is clearly described, so stop. And that actually, because before I read the book I did think it was a story of two white guys, because that was some of the stuff I had seen. I didn't even know there was a half Mexican character as the main character until I actually started the book. All right, so think about that. And it's because of the artwork that fans were doing. It is like, yeah, that's how you mess it up. Because I'm still in a place where I'm like, I am tired of reading stories about white men and their problems. I want something different. I want something unique, which not me was unique as far as I was concerned. But I want something different. I want something, just a new storyline and something else to read and watch. And Red, White, and Royal Blue has always been on my radar, but it almost didn't get read because I wasn't really interested in the same old, but I was like, hey, you know what? Let me read this cute little fantasy about some prince and some guy he meets. And then it wasn't. This is what I will say about this book and Casey McQuiston. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting based off of a lot of the things that I had seen about the book. It really was like, I didn't expect the storyline to be following Alex. I didn't even read about, that's how bad I was. I didn't even read up on the book, but I didn't expect the storyline to be following Alex. I was very happy about that. I didn't know that there was going to be a half Mexican character who was actually in touch with his Mexican heritage in different ways, be it food and language, culture. Didn't even expect that. And I didn't expect it to include a female president. I was like, oh, and his mom's the president, and his parents are divorced, and he has a stepdad. I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, all this stuff that I didn't know was included in the book. And honestly, if I knew, and it's also my own fault, because if I just went reading, I would have most likely found all that information out, but I just didn't go fully reading or fully investing into it, because I kind of just looked at the cover and I was like, oh, it's probably just gonna follow this prince or this dude falling in love with a prince that is just gonna be this average white guy. But yeah, reading it was like all this stuff I wish was pushed more. Like, just imagine someone doing like a book talk where they're like, a book that includes a female president, and just holds up red, white, and royal blue. It just nothing else. Just books that include female presidents. Just put it in there. That would be, that would be good. Well, actually, you know what? My one biggest gripe they covered in the book as well, and it's with Richards, because they talk about how one of the things that this might be a spoiler, so spoiler alert, but they talk about one of the things that a lot of people believe is that homophobes are all secretly gay. And they cover that about how no, homophobes aren't all secretly gay. Like, sadly, some homophobes are secretly gay, and they talk about that. And I like that the character Raphael Luna straight up says, like, just one of the things he hates. And Raphael Luna, what was your plan? What if Richards did win the presidency because the people, and what if you lose your seat? Like, what is wrong with... Read the book. Read the book. My favorite character from the entire novel is actually Nora. Nora is the vice president's daughter, or is she the vice president's granddaughter? I got jumbled up in that part where they were explaining her parents or whatever. I was like, what? Anyway, why I loved her, I think she's the vice president's daughter. Why I loved her, like, she is just, like, she just talks. Like, she doesn't care. She just speaks her mind. She's not afraid to speak her mind. I didn't necessarily like the scene with her and Alex when Alex was coming out to her. Not because I wasn't like, okay, I can see her, like, going, oh yeah, I figured you were too, or, you know, I can see that. But it kind of felt like a last minute, like, how are we gonna do this part? And like, you know, maybe it was thought through fully, but it felt like I need a character who knew all along, or characters who know all along, and characters who can help him through, or a character who's gonna tell him, you know, and that was there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Most likely I'm wrong. But I still liked Nora, and I still liked everything she did. I still love how she isn't afraid to be herself and just, you know, say what's on her mind. And I love that she just locked herself away, just trying to get as much information as possible, because she's like, if I'm gonna come forward with this, it better be right. I love Nora. I do. I love her. So I would say she is my favorite character in the whole book. She's a side character. And honestly, I think that just goes to show how well edited this book is. Like, Casey, they were very lucky that their first book that, you know, blew up was this, and it was well edited. It was well written. It's a really good story. It's a really entertaining and interesting story, and I love what they did, and I'm happy that they are continuing to make sure to put out queer romance, because we could always use more queer romance. Here for it. So yeah, this episode is a lot longer than I've been trying to make the episodes. I've been trying to keep them under 25 minutes, but I still, of course, want to give a rating for the book. For this book, I will definitely give it I'm going to base it off of would I listen to / read it again. Maybe. I think this is one of those books that if I listen to the audiobook again, it'll probably be in a couple of years. It'll be like 2 years later, like, I remember Red, White, and Royal Blue. Let me go listen to that again. Because at the end of the day, I love happy endings. I love happy stories. I love that this had that beautiful ending of just getting to be, and everything was wrapped up nicely in a cute little bow. So I will definitely give this I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, definitely. I say definitely check it out. I'm going to make sure there is a link to the book in the description. So go ahead and click on the link. Go get you the audiobook from Audiobooks Now. Or go to your local library, because your local library might actually have the book to borrow. So get you a library card. They're cheap. And go to your local library, borrow the book, and read it. Yeah, there's always a way. There's always a way. What did you think of the book? If you've read it or listened to the audiobook for it, please let me know. And thank you so much for listening to Time for BL. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, or night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Bye. If you are as busy as me, or you feel too overwhelmed to move and you want to get back into reading, then I have the app for you. Audiobooks Now is a website that features great quality professional audiobooks from your favorite authors, where you can also discover new ones too. You get access to many fiction and nonfiction titles that you can download or stream, and get great discounts on titles if you choose the membership. Use the link in the description to check out the titles in Audiobooks Now with 50% off your first club purchase. You can also download the app.